After recording this video, I realized that I actually made pretty much two videos in one. I will be talking about Debana Men and Oji Waza. I hope you enjoyed this 2-for-1. You can divide Kendo into two: Shikake Waza and Oji Waza. What I want to talk about today is why you need Shikake Waza in order to do good Oji Waza. And because it's this Kendo tips, of course, I'm going to share some tips on how you can transition your Shikake Waza into your Oji Waza. I'm going to share with you how to approach your opponent, timing, distance, and some of the things you might want to stay away from in order to have a successful Oji Waza, especially to not get caught by surprise from your opponent. I'm not gonna go over any specific Oji Waza today, but that being said, if you would like me to cover any of them, please go down to the comments below and let me know which one would you like to see me do. To do good Oji Waza, you should really lock down first your Shikake Waza. Not because Shikake is simpler, but because it will teach you elements that you're gonna need in order to do good Oji Waza and to have better chances at anticipating your opponent's reaction. For Shikake Waza, you take the initiative to attack, but you don't choose any random time to attack, right? During your Shikake practice, you're not only learning how to strike, you also should be learning what an opening looks like and how to get a reaction from your opponent. And by the way, this is why we need good motodachi out there. As you build up your techniques, as you build up your repertoires, you also want to start working on trying to learn how to do the techniques at the right time. So what I mean by this is to not commit to a technique just simply because you took a step forward to the opponent. You don't want to either come in blindly or come in and then wait for the motodachi to open. You want to learn how to keep the pressure going after that initial step. In other words, you want to always keep the pressure towards the opponent. Some people out there might call this taming. I think to put this in a physical exercise, maybe something that you can do at the store while you're in line, try taking a step in, and right after you take the step, keep yourself going forward, keep sliding in, trying to gain that balance and that control as you keep moving your body forward with the back leg engaged. This should allow you to understand how to transition into a technique without rushing into it, but also without taking away the pressure or the intention forward. This will bring me to skill number one into doing great Oji Waza, which is constantly pressure your opponent. You want to learn to keep the pressure going, to keep the intention forward, and then go when the opening is presented, not before and obviously not after. As you build up your experience, you might learn how to deflect the sword, how to suppress it, etc. Early on when you're doing your Shikake practice, you should learn to see your opponent, to observe what the reaction of your opponent is to your pressure, and also trying to understand the feeling of each other's shinai as you advance. You want to be aware and you want to keep that pressure forward because you don't want to be the person putting pressure then reacting to the opponent's pressure. Let me know if what I'm saying makes sense, because I really don't want to confuse anybody. I don't want you to create bad habits. And if you're finding some value, take a second to also hit the like button on this video. Shikake Waza and Oji Waza are very similar. To do Shikake Waza, you want to apply pressure, hold for the opponent's reaction, and then strike. In other words, seme, tame, utsu. Having that pressure after the initial approach is what will allow you to anticipate the reaction of your opponent and be able to have better chances at striking. Let's develop our Oji Waza with Shikake Waza. For this example, I would use Debana Men. And yes, Debana is Shikake. If you don't believe me, talk to this guy, or let me know down in the comments why you think it's not Shikake Waza. Anyways, let me show you how Debana Men can actually be helpful for your Oji Waza. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you a drill to help you with your Debana Men, and then I'll explain to you how you can transfer this into your Oji Waza. After you lock down your Kihon and you can do Shikake Waza, try this with a partner. While you're in an engaged kamae, have your partner approach you and at that moment attack. I can't stress this enough. Don't just wait there for your opponent. Try to anticipate them coming in and attack as you're moving. Imagine that you took that first step and then they move. This will help you understand when to attack and how to anticipate your opponent's motion. You're just trying to understand what it looks like when they come and paying attention to your body so you're ready to go forward without any excess movement. Someone once explained this to me, that you want to kind of catch them not when they're moving, but when they made the decision that they're going to move. I don't know if that helps. I think it helped me a lot, so I wanted to pass that along to you. The next level is to take a step towards your opponent, and at that moment, your opponent should be coming in. When they do, you attack. Here, your partner can play around with how far they move and the timing of when they move. Sometimes they might anticipate you, sometimes they might go a little bit later. You're looking to understand when is it that they're coming, so you trigger your technique at that moment. Doing this will help you understand the transitions between taking the step and attacking. It might give you a chance, depending on your partner, to understand how to attack even without fully taking that first step. Maybe you will have to engage the technique before you actually get the chance to do that first step. Lastly, you want your opponents to engage in their technique as your step forward. At the beginning, I will recommend you to have your partner do it slow and gradually increment the level of realism and speed. But this is a great opportunity to now put everything together and especially work on the distance. Remember that now that your opponent is coming in, you want to make sure that you hit him with the right part of your shinai into the right target and do the proper stepping. Most likely you're going to have to take a shorter step that you've been taking, and as your opponent builds up speed, that step might be even smaller. You want to get to a point where you're being challenged and you're understanding timing, so again, you can have your partner have different timings, different distances, and so on. But don't forget to keep the pressure into your opponent. This will allow you to anticipate when they are going to come. All of these skills are 100% transferable into Oji Waza. So let's take, for example, Men Kaeshido, which I think is one of the most common techniques where you see people waiting for the opponent and they end up getting hit because they're just not ready to move. Yeah, you want to keep that pressure towards your opponent. You want to be the one initiating this pressure, not waiting, and have your opponent come in out of desperation. At this point, you can anticipate their attack because you're the one causing them to move. I guess in a simplistic way to put it, if you know when you're going, you can assume that they're going to react to your pressure. Granted, not with all Oji Waza you're going to be going forward, but you're always going to be putting pressure into your opponent. If your opponent sees you backing off and not really giving him pressure, they might not even go, or they might even catch you by surprise by coming in with a lot of momentum. But in all honesty, that's a topic for another video, so subscribe. If you ask me, the perfect Kendo scenario is one where you put pressure towards your opponent reacts, and you anticipate this reaction and take their technique. And in this case, for Oji Waza, you counter and attack. But for example, there's going to be times where you can put pressure without even stepping, and that will cause the opponent to move, giving you an opening. So I guess what I'm saying with this is you have to be aware when any of these openings present themselves. One of the reasons why this works is because if you put the pressure, at least you're gonna have an estimate of when your opponent's gonna come. You may not know where they're going, but at least you get in that reaction so you can be ready and anticipate where they're going to come. But on top of that, if they feel pressure, most likely they're not gonna come with their strongest attack. I know this can be a little bit complicated, and I hope you stayed here for the whole video. Let me know if you have any questions down in the comments below. Of course, this is a very broad way of understanding the dynamic between Shikake and Oji Waza, but if you would like to go more in depth into Debana Men, you might want to check out this video right here. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you would like to get more Kendo tips coming your way, or if you would like to know when I go live during the weekends. You can pass by and ask me all your Kendo questions. If you found some value in this video, please take a second to hit the like button. It really helps the channel, and please share this with someone you want their Kendo to improve. Thank you for watching.